Hello everyone, welcome back TV Spoilers. Today I'm going to review to you the dramatic plan that will give viewers tense moments as the police chase Dominic. Young in the Restless Full Episode Wednesday reveals that Mariah may fail in her escape plan. Dominic Newman-Abbott-Winters-Chancellor's disappearance is not just a vanishing act that shakes the town, but like a straight cut to the hearts of Abby and Devon. A cut that makes everything they once called peaceful so fragile that a gust of wind could shatter it. When it's officially confirmed that Mariah Copeland kidnapped the boy, the atmosphere immediately changes. This isn't a story about a calculating villain, but the tragedy of someone falling free from their own mind. Mariah is in a state of profound instability, guided by hallucinations of Ian Ward like an invisible hand, and this guidance distorts everything she once believed to be true. In Mariah's crumbling world, Dominic is no longer the child of Abby and Devon, but becomes living proof of a delusional belief that she is his biological mother. And when one absolutely believes in their hallucinations, all advice, all pleas, all beautiful memories that once bound them to their family become meaningless noise. Mariah is not simply running away. She carries Dominic with her as her last lifeline, determined to leave the country to escape the truth that is chasing her, even if that truth is the people who love her most. On the other side, Abby and Devon are in a state of utter despair, very much Y&R, not only pain but also a feeling of betrayal by fate itself. Abby didn't have time to do what most people do when faced with shock. Sit down, breathe, name the fear, because how could a mother remain calm when her child is missing? Devon was in a similar situation, but Devon's pain carried an extra layer. He had to keep himself from breaking down while also being a pillar of support for Abby. The most terrifying thing about these kinds of searches was that each passing minute carried hundreds of scenarios in their heads, and none of them had a happy ending. The questions weighed heavily on them. Where was Dominic? Was he hungry? Was he scared? Was he crying himself hoarse? And what would happen if Mariah was cornered? Abby and Devon weren't searching for their child with mere reason. They were searching for a panicked instinct, both clear-headed and blind, leaving everything around them to be nothing but the pounding of their hearts and the ringing of their phones. Detective Burrow's arrival in this pursuit became the thread that pulled them closer to reality. They needed clues, a process, speed, and coordination with the local police. But in a story where the perpetrator was a family member, the process was as painful as salt rubbed into a wound. Because every time Burrow asked, every time he analyzed the situation, Abby had to admit a cruel truth. The person holding her child was Mariah, a part of the family, someone Sharon had protected her whole life. And Sharon was at the center of a kind of guilt that was difficult to describe. Not the guilt of doing something wrong intentionally, but the guilt of a mother who silently failed to see her child drowning. Sharon blamed herself for not realizing Mariah's condition sooner, and that self-reproach only intensified the suffocating situation. She had to chase Dominic's lead while simultaneously facing the truth that Mariah wasn't evil. She was sick, but that sick person was committing an act that could destroy the entire family. Then a clue appeared. A glimmer of hope that was both saving and threatening. Mariah and Dominic were seen at a gas station in Oklahoma, heading west on Route 66. These kind of details were always chilling, so specific they could almost hear the tires rolling on the hot pavement, yet so vague that a single misstep could mean losing track of them forever. Abby and Devon received the information about Mariah's location in Oklahoma and almost immediately found themselves in a state of no choice. They had to go, quickly, decisively. They were preparing to depart by private jet, and using a private jet at this moment wasn't a symbol of wealth, but of fear. When you fear losing your child, you'll buy time at any cost, whether that time is bought with money, tears, or the rest of your life. The Newman-Abbott family experienced a moving reunion, ending the chase with a happy conclusion in the sense that Dominic had returned safely. But if you look closely, this isn't an end, but a new scar. Dominic might sleep in Abby's arm for many nights as a way to make up for the moments he was dragged away from home. Abby and Devon might try to rebuild their sense of security, but the fear again will lurk in every little habit. Sharon might continue to blame herself, and that self-blame could become a toxic loop if she doesn't find a way to forgive herself. These kinds of storylines always choke me up because they're not just tense in the sense of a chase and rescue, but they struck directly at the most vulnerable areas: family, trust, and mental illness. I wanted to hug Abby and Devon because they'd suffer so much, and I wanted to hug Sharon because a mother's guilt can sometimes hurt more than punishment, and I couldn't completely hate Mariah either, because deep down, she wasn't scheming. She was lost. What haunted me most was the image of Dominic terrified yet safe, because it was like a small miracle in a big storm, a miracle that shouldn't have been needed if things had been realized sooner. And as everyone breathed a sigh of relief and Dominic was home, another worry arose, lingering like the engine noise after the car had stopped. Could this family truly close on, or was this the first chapter of a longer battle, a battle to heal Mariah, to protect Dominic from his terrifying memories, and to prevent Sharon from succumbing to guilt? Because sometimes a reunion is just the calm before another wave hits.